Lives and inspire true wealth, one person, one family, one business at a time. Shaw & Associates is a wealth management investment firm that specializes in taxes, serving as a fiduciary, putting your interests first. You can find more information or schedule an appointment by calling 530-674-1150 or on the web at shawassociatesinc.com. Shaw & Associates is proud to support community radio.
And we are grateful for Mr. Shaw's support. He's been supporting community radio. I can't even tell you when Dave Shaw started, but a long time ago, and he sponsors these morning interviews.
Yes, thank you.
And if you'd like to support community radio, it's really not that difficult. You just go to our webpage, 93qradio.com, and hit the donate button. And then when you do that, we can continue to do what we're doing, like having David Reed on.
Thank you.
Who absolutely understands the term non-profit.
You bet. Oh, my gosh. Welcome to our world, right?
Yeah. This old bishop, once I was talking to him, and he said, well, Bob, when they told me about non-profit, I didn't realize it meant non-profit.
Oh golly,
because it was a church, right? And
yep.
it was like he was in a rough area. I went to church there. Great man.
But I also heard from my Lutheran pastor cousin once about churches and how they're funded, and he made the point. He says, because we ask. We pass the plate at every service, and doesn't mean everybody's going to give, but a lot of folks do, and just like your organization and ours, you got to pass the hat.
It's like, give me money so I can keep doing what I'm doing. One of the things that Bishop had told me, he said that he had got asked to be a pastor. He was an evangelist, and he said, well, let me pray about it. So he said he got alone with the Lord and he prayed, Lord, if you bring 10 people, if there's 10 people that need me to do this, I'll do it. Later, he said, I wish I'd have said, if you bring 10 tithe payers.
Let me clarify that request.
He said there was a local restaurant, him and his wife, that would leave food on their doorstep. He said they'd have starved if it wasn't for that. But, sometimes what we do, we really don't do it for the money.
I'm certainly not.
Yeah. I get paid such big bucks.
Right.
You notice I'm driving that brand new Mercedes. It's called a big blue Chevy van, right? With the logo on it.
My 2004 Suburban, thank you.
Yeah. So what I wanted to talk to you about this morning, I mean, I know you're going to cover stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But I keep seeing an ad for this.
Which
right?
one?
And it's the Bandits and Bandanas. Yes, I keep seeing that.
Oh, good.
And I was
That's a good thing.
When David comes in, I'm going to ask him specifically. I mean, I know you got others here.
Sure.
So tell me about that. What is that?
Well, it's our fundraiser. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. I feel like everything we do is a fundraiser. And once we make the monthly bills, make payroll for three of us full-time employees. Everything else is a fundraiser.
Wait, you get a payroll?
Well, little stipend.
We haven't got that.
I know. Well,
tell me how to do that.
You're moving on up. Hey, you need to get more grants, right? Bandits and Bandanas, we've done several times over the years, and we've got it again this year. And it's a Western-themed kind of a cabaret-style show. 6 wonderful performers coming in to sing their favorite country Western songs. We'll have all kinds of games, Western-themed games and decor. One of the most popular ones last time was, let me see, how do I say this on air? Chicken poop bingo. You can fill in the blank. Are you familiar with this game?
No.
Look it up. If you want to have 5 minutes of great entertainment, look it up on the internet sometime when you're scrolling. Chicken poop bingo. It's a 4x8 playing board with random numbers, colored numbers. A little cage goes over it. You drop a chicken in it, and the number that it does its business on, whoever's got that winning ticket, you buy a ticket, wins the pot, and then we can repeat that several times.
Go?
Well, we wait. We wait. It's a waiting game, Fish. They haven't disappointed us yet. So I'd never heard of this either until a couple of years ago.
In Yuba, Sutter, would there be a game involving chickens?
It appears,
I love it.
Right? It's very appropriate. Aside from the fact that in rural communities, it appears to be quite widespread and a real great fun. I mean, there's weekly events. People bring their champion, pooping chickens, I guess. I know, right?
Well, I tell you, maybe we get Willie the wild chicken, but that might be a little bit too much. Freebirds bring him out on loan.
Oh, that would be incredible. We should talk to who, Lon Hadamia or somebody. Yeah.
Find out if you get Willie to attend the event.
So it's it's a fundraiser, and specifically, it's the ongoing fundraising effort for the main stage. That's the other half of the original Sutter Theater. Mm-hmm. Of course, those who've been in know that the front half, beautiful new lobby, a concession stand, full bar, art gallery, just lovely, and the 150-seat black box theater. But in the 80s, when it was cut in half from the original 900-seat configuration, they cut it in half, had two smaller projection rooms up front, and the one big one in the back, and that back half has never been developed. So when the Sutter Performing Arts Association did their big lift over 15 years to get the front up and ready, the back has just been sitting there waiting. So we've got an architect involved. We're talking to our great local construction company, Hilbers, to get some preliminary construction estimates. Of course, all new theatrical lighting, sound, and seating. And it'll be an incredible 299-seat live performing arts space. I mean, can you imagine? Right here in the middle of town. I mean, we're not competing with Hard Rock. Nothing competes with what they're doing out there. And isn't that great to have them in the community, too?
Oh, that's huge.
I mean,
I thought it was a big deal because we had the what's it called, the outdoor arena,
Toyota Amphitheater?
Yeah, the amphitheater.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I thought that was big. And then Hard Rock come in, so you got an indoor venue, an outdoor venue.
Incredible.
And then they're larger.
And
you
Yuba
have
College.
an opportunity. One of the things that performers talk about all the time, I've heard from Paul McCartney of the Beatles to others, they say they still love to go into a smaller venue where they can just be themselves and perform. And I'm thinking, well, I'll tell you where there's a golden one about to happen.
Yeah.
Because that is true. I'll play open mics, and there's something about playing for 20 people.
Sure.
So even 300 people is still small.
Pretty intimate.
And so that's it. Yeah. And so when you get that, so you guys are going to be able to do so much with that.
Can't wait.
That's
and
amazing.
it's a traditional proscenium arch, like was originally the front of the movie theater, and we're going to extend the stage a little bit, bring it out, drop it down, extend the apron. It'll be spectacular. I mean, state of the art. And just so excited, and I've got another call tomorrow with the architect and Hilbers and their teams, and just everybody's coming together and trying to get a real number, so it's not like, well, it's going to be
around.
Yeah, right. I know. I'd like to have something more specific to tell potential donors.
You're buying a car, they go, well, now if we add the warranty.
Absolutely, I know.
No, I want the total amount. Just what is it going to cost me to walk out of here?
Nice, right? So so Bandits and Bandanas has been really successful in the past. We had a lot of fun. In fact, 2 years ago, Dan Flores, who I know is a regular here, isn't he assistant city manager now, Marysville,
I don't know
Sutter County supervisor? He's like all over.
I have wondered for years, does he actually have a job?
Oh, I think he's got.
I see him everywhere. But so Dan, if you're listening, I want you to go to One Stop because they'll get you a job, right?
I know.
They care about you.
Match your skill set with some openings, maybe. Yeah, in case you have any available time. But he and his wife Tanya came out and helped us out.
Gal.
We did a version of El Paso, the old Marty Robbins song.
Yeah.
And he and Tanya ran around the theater on stick ponies.
What?
And were just great sports and really helped us, raise a lot of money that year. So I don't know if we got any surprises like that in store. You'll just have to attend and come out. But get tickets. It's a pretty fun show and for a great cause. So
this is coming up right around the corner, August 22nd.
Week from Saturday.
And there's a lot of events going on is it this weekend? No, the weekend after.
Yeah, it's a busy weekend.
And the Veterans Stand Down is going on. It's important. The Mountain Fair up in Brownsville is going on. Because, people have been talking about that. So there's always something to go on.
There's nothing to do here, Fish. I've been told that since I moved here 17 years ago. There's nothing to do here.
But this has got to be, how much is a ticket?
It's $75, but that includes a gourmet Western meal. It's being catered by Marcello's. He brings out his barbecue, cooks right on site. It's incredible.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a full meal, all the games, great show, and you'll get to really help, I think, an important cause. I mentioned before we went on air this past 2 weekends, we had 15 sold-out performances by Center Stage Productions. Corey Kirsting was with me, I think, last month talking about that. They were rehearsing for a whole summer and then 2 weekends of performances of Footloose, the full musical, and then Aladdin Jr. for the younger group. But being able to give those students an even bigger performing space, we do it in the Black Box Theater, which is a little smaller space, and there's some challenges as far as staging, but they were beautiful shows.
How many seat is
150. That? The Black Box is legal for 150.
So, okay, let me see. I want to see if I understand this.
Yeah.
So, will there be a time when both theaters are connected to one big theater?
No, the plan is totally separate.
Got it, okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure because I was thinking, you could actually have 2 shows go on the same night.
Yeah, we could. That'll be pretty wild. People ask about parking all the time. What did they do before it was split in half? Or not, before it was split in half, when it was one 900-seat theater. I assume that some of the big shows back in the 70s, whatever, people tell me all the time they saw Star Wars there, and I'm sure those were sold.
I did.
900 seats. Where did people park? I don't know. We'll figure that out.
Well, I parked across the street, but there wasn't as much nighttime activity on Plumas Street.
Because they did that big remodel, right, a number of years ago.
Before that, there weren't a lot of businesses that were open at night. Most of them were closed. And then
there was
after
more
the Happy Viking went in, which was sort of an anchor store. Joe Federico, he was really brilliant. He knew what he was doing, and he built that. Well, that was not just a bar, because there were bars, but that was family. That
Full
was a
restaurant,
sports bar.
family
It was a restaurant.
You bet.
And that enabled other businesses to anchor onto it, which is what happens in malls.
Sure.
Right? Put a Macy's in or whatever. And so I think that was brilliant. But when the Sutter closed down, there was, for me anyway, it was like I loved that it was this local little theater. Yeah. So now you take that and add to it, not that you couldn't show a movie in there even,
we can. Oh, yeah.
But now you're talking about live theater.
Yes.
That's just huge to me.
That was the whole premise, yeah.
Yep, and so there's places to park. I tried to go to that new pizza place and
Celestino's,
couldn't get in there 3 times, right? Actually twice.
You know about the parking in back though, right?
That's what happened. Yeah. So I finally get a parking space, and my wife and I go in there, and I bemoan the fact that and they go, there's parking in back, right? Well, I do now, and so you have to realize that there are parking spaces behind businesses all up and down Plumas. So.
Hold that thought, because before we finish today, I want to tell you about a project we're doing on that alleyway called Neon Alley. But we'll come back to that. But, well, speaking of films, though, this Saturday we're showing a film called Kintsukuroi. It's a fancy Japanese word that is it refers to the art form when a piece of pottery is broken and it's reassembled using gold solder. So I don't know the technical term, but that whole idea that we're stronger in the parts that have been broken. And it's a film chronicling a family during World War II, the internment camp experience. We've worked closely, as I think you know, with the Marysville Japanese American Citizens League. The filmmaker came to us and said, hey, we'd like to screen this film for your local community. So that's happening this Saturday. We've got a state-of-the-art Christie digital projector that's fantastic, and surround sound system. So it's a good movie experience. It's not Cinerama Dome or IMAX, but we show a good film. We do a good job with that. So, but just to finish up on Bandits and Bandanas, if you possibly can come out and support us, we'll entertain you. You'll help us, help us help you by keeping you entertained next Saturday, the 22nd. So,
I like it. You've got. You also got the Tyler and the Train Robbers.
Yeah, this is, we're trying. I know, isn't that fun?
Is that a great name, Tyler and the Train Robbers? I mean,
well, this came to us, compliments Eric Preston, the principal of Marysville Charter Academy for the Arts. We do a lot of things with the school, and nothing to do with the students in this case, but he spends time in Idaho with family, and he says, Reed, you got to bring this band in from Idaho. I see him every time I'm up there. So this is another example where we're, trying to, in addition to supporting local artists, musicians, performers, every once in a while we like to bring in an outside group, like we did with Tom Rigney and Flambeau, the Cajun group that came in, Cajun Blues group. James Garner, the Johnny Cash cover act that's coming. He was scheduled 2 months ago to come in, sold out. Called me 2 days before and said, hey, I'm on my father's in the hospital with him. He's on his deathbed. Well, I guess we need to cancel, don't we? So we've rescheduled James Garner, the Johnny Cash Act, for November. But then Tyler and the Train Robbers, I've heard them. They're amazing, just so much fun, Americana, rock, country kind of vibe that I think will be, really, really well received here in the community if people are willing to come out and try something a little different, something new.
Well,
right.
I tell people all the time, number one music in this area is country.
Sure.
Now, when I played in a band, I tried to consider my audience. What do they want to hear?
Were you playing here? Well, this was before you came here, wasn't it? Or?
Yeah, it was in Sacramento.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like we started, instead of going and playing places, we had enough of a following. We just started doing events with us playing.
Nice.
Come see us play, right? Yeah. And there's something about knowing the people. So when you're doing an event here, a lot of the people that put on events, I think, well, you don't have to do country. People like classic rock. They like folk rock,
sure.
Right? But you have to consider your audience. So if you want to do something outside that, let's take reggae.
Yeah.
Now, I like reggae,
sure.
Right? So if you're doing reggae, do you have a reggae audience,
yeah.
Right? Are there people that listen to that? So the answer might be yes, but what if you're trying to do a fundraiser
right.
and you bring in a reggae band and 4 people show up?
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Might not be the best choice.
Yeah, and so what I'm getting at is I appreciate that you heard them.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes before you do an event, consider the audience.
Yeah.
Are they going to respond to whatever band it is,
yes.
whatever music they're playing, whether they're local or not, right? They respond. And I've had conversations with Randy Maddox out at the Hard Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Many. And he talks about, sometimes you just don't know. He brought in what was it? The Gibb Brothers, the BG tribute band.
Tribute band. Oh,
I was trying to think. So tribute
huge.
is different than cover. Tribute,
no.
He has either brought them back 3 times or is bringing them back a 3rd time.
Yeah.
Why? Because the audience loved them.
They sell
Who
out.
knew?
Yeah.
Who knew that disco was still popular
right.
in this area?
I know.
I was like, I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
And it's not even the real Bee Gees, right? But
right.
they're really, really good.
Good, yeah.
And I just think,
good for them for pushing the envelope. And we, we have to be cautious because if we're paying an act $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and this is not a $50 to $100 a ticket community. I mean, unless you're at the Hard Rock and you're hearing someone like that. We try to keep our ticket prices $20, $25, mm-hmm. and do the math times 150 seats. That's kind of the threshold. And we've got a full bar, but you don't make that much on the bar. Interestingly enough, we sell a little bit of artwork, but we got to be conscientious about how we invest in outside performing arts groups. But it's a risk. You take a shot, and we'll keep trying. Things.
And this area is very diverse. It really is.
It truly is.
And I just saw an advertisement for I don't even know what it was for, but it was this, I guess she's a famous East Indian singer, right? And, obviously, no. I'd never heard of her.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a bunch of people who know them.
Sure.
And it's like you think of some of the new groups. My grandson called me and said, hey, Grandpa, you got connections out at the Hard Rock? And I went, Aiden, what do you want?
Yeah.
Well, he wanted tickets for this gal, Biba Doobie.
Oh, she's going to be at the Hard Rock?
She already was.
Oh, she was? Okay.
Yeah. It's sold out.
Wow.
She's just amazing. Well, I heard, I got her music, and she's like jazz.
Yeah.
It's like, and so kids are, the music changes.
Yeah,
so it's like, well, I'm going to play this. It's like, okay, well, all the kids are listening to R&B and jazz.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, so.
Well, that whole world music vibe, I think there's been more and more of that over the years, because I grew up with a steady diet of it, and in L.A., because I heard reggae bands live. I heard, African music, some of the West African, Fela Kuti and King Sunny Ade and all these people I was able to hear on local radio and also at venues like the Hollywood Bowl and the Greek Theater.
I've been to the Hollywood Bowl.
Right?
That's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
I can't believe that place.
That's wild, yeah. I saw Miles Davis there. I mean, just a tremendous number of people. Peter, Paul, and Mary. Well, it's just, anyway. Live music, right? We could write a book about our shared live music experiences, I'm sure.
And I just talked to Stevie Ten Bears again, who owns the.
You bet.
And so I was asking him about, when they do local bands and that. And Stevie's a bright guy, so he said, well, I have different people that help me. One person does the production end of lighting, and somebody does sound, and somebody does. And David, I just think that's the ticket. How do we cooperate with one another?
Totally.
How can I help Yuba Sutter Arts? In entertainment. Well, in part,
here.
I bring you on here, right?
Sure, thank you.
But it's like something happens when the community pulls together. Right, and I just think that there's such a diversity, so many interesting things. I really have to tell you the bananas and bandanas, whatever that was.
That's like the Savannah Bananas. Is that what you're saying? Love them.
I do the games. I love baseball, and it's we've got a baseball team playing that is connected with Major League Baseball.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
And so we have that right here. We've got a theater that is almost complete. All it needs is this one last push. Yeah. And we've got a 299. Who's counting, right? A 300-seat local venue for intimate entertainment. Local musicians could put on their own show if they've got a following. Put on your own show, split the money with the Arts Council, and man, you've got something right here. And when you're done, there's like 4 or 5 restaurants downtown.
Well, we pack them in. I'm telling you, we see before and after our shows, our economic impact on Plymouth Street is significant. We've surveyed people. 35% of people that come to our shows shop locally, either at a restaurant or retail store before or after coming to one of our events. So it's proof positive, Yeah, no question. I mean, and to your point about all of these great things happening, it's like the old, rising tide lifts all ships, right?
That's it.
And the power of collaboration, it's just incredible, like the work we do with the JACL or the Alliance for Hispanic Advancement or the school districts, local government doing live, not live, but public art as another component of a happy, healthy, thriving community. You mentioned Celestino's Pizza. Am I allowed to say that?
I'm not like, we can say anything. You can mention other radio stations. I don't care.
If you're familiar with...
I want us all to succeed.
That part of Plymouth Street, we got a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts. It does still exist. We've gotten a lot of grants from them over the years. This project is called Neon Alley. And there's that, as we were discussing, that alleyway from Plymouth Street to the back parking lot behind Celestino's, and then Creative Interiors right next door, which is going to reopen after that fire they had. So the premise of this project is we're going to paint murals down both walls. So there'll be this kind of mural experience as you're walking through there. Shane Grammer, the fellow that came and did the big portrait mural that's right there next to Celestino's, he's going to continue murals on both sides. And then we inherited from the city a few years back the old signs from bars on Plymouth Street, the Town Pump and the Spur. And they're these big 6-7 foot signs. So we're going to refurbish them. We've got a few others from various folks, and we're going to hang these kind of willy-nilly down that alleyway.
That's brilliant.
So you're going to walk through there. You got the murals, you got these old neon signs, and it's going to be kind of a walk-through art experience. Just one more thing, like all the other murals we've done at Tower Park, on the side of the Sutter Theater. It's just it's called creative placemaking, just another little kind of happy moment for people, enhancing that experience while they're going out to dinner or going to a show. So Neon Alley, that's happening in September. So,
we talk a lot when you come in, and since I own the station, I can talk as long as I want, David.
Thank you. I like it.
And so I have watched over the years with talking with you how sometimes I think people that are quote unquote artsy get tagged because sometimes they push the envelope farther than they should, right?
I got stories, but
at the same time, well, it goes back to consider your audience.
Sure, of course.
And so, I don't envy your position in having to try to promote all the different arts, because there's some things that, some of us would look at and say, that's not really art, right?
Yeah, sure.
I remember the Yoko Ono thing where you walked up a step ladder and she had a Post-it note on the ceiling, and they made this big deal out of it. And I was just, a young buck at the time, and I'm like, I wouldn't pay 2 cents to walk up that ladder, but they called it art, right?
Yeah, right.
But at the same time, you produce local theater, local kids. You work with Marysville Charter of the Arts, kids that are looking for that opportunity, local bands. You bring in great entertainment from the outside, and so you're trying to provide for the community things that they will remember. They create a memory. Take their kids to go see Footloose, right? Maybe their kids in Footloose. Take Grandma and Grandpa. Let's all go down and watch it. So it's this community effort that connects. I think about what you just said about the Neon Alley.
Yeah.
So, I've been to Vegas a few times, right? I had 2 sisters lived out there. And the neon is a whole different world, and it's everywhere. I mean, all kinds of, now they got the big video screens.
Sure.
But there's still but there is something nostalgic about neon.
Yes.
And you actually got 2 local bars that used to exist.
Yeah. I know.
I mean, it's amazing that I don't even.
We've been holding on to those signs for years,
Yeah, who
and suddenly it all
kept those
came.
and why, right?
The city had them in storage. I don't know how they inherited them, but we've got them. We'll paint them up and put in new lighting. And we still got the old original neon lighting around the Sutter Theater sign. That big tower sign. And we had some of it repaired. It's mostly okay, but there's still a few sections that are out. But it's tough because it's very electricity intensive. When we fire that up on a regular basis, it's an extra $2,000 a month.
Wow.
I'd like to have it lit up every night.
For neon?
Oh yeah, sure. We could get tube LED lighting, and I'd love to do that eventually, but that's another, 30, 40 grand probably. So it's like I'd love to have the big digital marquee out front someday, but it's on the list.
It's only money, David. It's only money.
I know. Yeah, we've got to have our list of priorities. Open the main stage, 299-seat theater.
Well, again, I think there's an advantage, a distinct advantage in supporting one another. I support the other media outlets in the community. I want everybody to succeed. I think that there are ways for people to connect artistically with you guys, Yuba Sutter Arts. I think there's ways. You and I have talked about maybe doing a show like Prairie Home Companion.
Love to.
I think it's a bit of work to put people together to do that, because it has to be there has to be a story.
Sure.
It has to be something people are going to hear the story, remember the story, but also at the same time it gives us an opportunity to have local entertainment. I just want to say this: I put on an Italian dinner once at the church, right? And the people asked me what I wanted. And I said, well, it's spaghetti, right? It's easy, right? I said, but I want the kids to dress nice and be the waiters.
Nice.
Right? White shirt, black tie.
Yep.
We're doing this, right? And I said, I want somebody to play violin and walk around.
Of course.
And they found this young girl. I don't know where they got her.
Yeah.
But the whole dinner she was playing, and I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
I was ready to start singing. So I just think there's certain elements that there's kids that are incredibly artistic that we don't get to see.
Yeah.
Right? Their family loves them, and maybe they play in an event. But when you bring them to a local event, when you bring them in, where you've got other artists and people know, I am going to get to see some local kids that maybe they don't play in a band.
Yeah.
We all know open mics. I go to open mics.
Yeah.
There was a kid showed up at open mic playing the cello. amazing. He was playing old 40 stuff on this cello, and I was like,
I wonder if it's the one I know from Marysville Charter Academy.
Might be.
He's a
Just
cello
a nice young
virtuoso,
man. Yeah, nice young man, and he was nervous, right? And it's like, I'm sitting there going, I love this.
It's such a great sound.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my take on it.
You're absolutely right. And getting about back on the student performer part, whether it's visual arts or music or acting, but getting them outside of the school environment into a public space.
Yes.
You know, we do that. And in spring, we host a number of student art shows at the Sutter Theater or here at the Burroughs in Marysville. And to see the families come in where it's an evening event, so it's a convenient time after work, they come in, have a little reception, and, watching the family in front of the artwork on the wall, doing the selfies, and it's just a beautiful thing, in that other environment outside the walls of the school.
I love it.
Yep.
Well, David, I always appreciate you coming in. And now I know what Bandits and Bandanas is.
That's right.
I now know it's a fundraiser, and it's a fundraiser.
Fundraiser for sure.
So,
and then this Saturday, Kensukure, the internment camp Japanese American experience, and it deals also with the 442nd Army Regiment, the Japanese American regiment that fought, and a highly decorated group during World War II. So. And then their returning home experience, after the internment camp. So,
well, I have to tell you, I spent 3 years in Japan, fell in love with the Japanese people because I was around the farmers.
Real
the farmers are just way different than Tokyo. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it.
Anyway, yubasutterarts.org, all the information, look us up, give us a call, and get out and experience some new things.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
This community interview is made possible by Shaw and Associates.
I'm Dave Shaw, President and CEO of Shaw and Associates.